Okay, so properties of determinant start করার আগে if we can discuss about expansion of determinant, that it was just we can expand the determinant through any row or any column using the cofactors, right? So after that, if I see some properties, first property is I have written that first row is as 0 and second row is a1 b1 c1, third row is a2 b2 c2. That means if any row or any column of a determinant is 0, then we can say that the value of the determinant will be 0. That is the property. So I have taken one row as 0. It can be any row or any column can be 0. Maybe row 1 is 0, maybe row 2 is 0, maybe column 3 is 0, maybe column 2 is 0. So written that if each element of a row or any column of a determinant is 0, then the value of the determinant is 0. So what we will learn in properties, that properties means suppose you have to find the value of the determinant. So firstly, we can find the value of the determinant with expansion, but without expanding, if we want to find the value of a determinant, then we have to use the properties of determinants, and that we will learn right now, that what are the properties. So first one is done, that if any row or any column is 0, value of the determinant will be 0. Second property, if any two rows or any two columns are identical, then value of the determinant will be 0. If any two rows or any two columns of a determinant is identical, that means any two row or any two column, okay, same element should be exactly same, then the whole value of the determinant will be 0. Here row 1 and row 3 are identical, means r1 and r3. First one, you see that row 1 abc, right? Row 1 means this one is row 1 abc, and this one is called the row 3 or r3. So r1 or r3 and r3 are identical, since therefore the value will be 0 only. Then after that, I have taken another example, that 246 minus 310 123. Okay, 246 minus 310 123. We will say according to row wise always. So first, what we can do, that no row or no column are identical in this determinant, right? But we can take common 2 from the r1. From the row 1 we can take common 2. So determinant property is first property, basic was we have discussed, that we can take common any element from a row or from a column, right? So if I take common 2, then it will be 1 2 3. If I take common 2, it will be 1 2 3. Okay, then minus 310 and 1 2 3 third row is same, we have not touched this one. So now we can see that after taking common, first row and the third row becomes identical. So that means the value of the determinant will be 0. So 2 into 0 will give you 0 only. Clear? Two properties we have learned.
Yes, sir.
If any one of the row or column is 0, value will be 0. If any two row or any two column is identical, then value will be also be 0. Property 3 is, you can see what I have written, if you want to interchange any two rows or any two columns, the value of the determinant changes by negative sign only. Changes by negative sign only means, suppose I have taken an example and determinant abc xyz pqr is there, interchanging r1 and r2. Interchanging r1 and r2 means r2 will go to the position of r1, r1 will come to r2. That means r1 interchanging r2 symbolically like this. If we interchange, a minor negative will come outside. So row 1 and r1 and r2 see interchange, that means xyz will go that side, abc will come in that side. So xyz comes first, abc comes second, and pqr third. Next, again we are interchanging c1 and c3, that means c1 c3 interchanged. C1 c3 interchanged. So minus 1 is there, and then again negative will come. So it will be C1 and C3, right? What was C1? C1 was XAP. What was C3? ZCR. This one will be interchanged. Again, negative will come, and then we have got ZYX CBA RQP. এটা বোঝা গেল ঋষিতা? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Property 4 is what I have written, that if each element on one side of a principal diagonal of a determinant is 0, then the value of the determinant is product of the diagonal elements. What I have written? If each element on one side of a principal diagonal is 0, then the value of the determinant is product of the diagonal elements. Means principal diagonal is called this one. The left diagonal is called the principal diagonal. Okay, so if each element on one side of a principal diagonal, one side means ki this side can be 0, or this portion YZB, this portion also can be 0. That means, that's why it is written, if each element on one side of a principal diagonal, over here the lower side is 0, the upper side can be 0 also. Like the lower side 3 elements 0 is there, and in the upper diagonal, upper portion of the diagonal elements, that YZB is there, that elements also can be 0. Then the whole value of the determinant will be the product of the element of the diagonals. The diagonal is there. What are the diagonal elements? X, AP. Then the value of the diagonal determinant will be X, AP. Without expanding, we can write it. Always this property is most important. I am giving you a star on that. This is the most important property, because if you are asked that find the value of the determinant without expansion, always we will try to make this format. Actually, to make this format means কি আমরা চেষ্টা করি যে অলওয়েজ যেন দুটো জিরো চলে আসে। এই ডায়াগোনাল এলিমেন্টস দেখতে পাচ্ছ যে এই যে প্রিন্সিপাল ডায়াগোনাল এলিমেন্ট গুলো আছে, লাইক দ্যাট এই টাইপের এলিমেন্টস গুলো, হ্যাঁ, এই একটা ডায়াগোনালের যে কোনো এক সাইডে, আইদার দিস সাইড অর দিস সাইড, যে কোনো এক সাইডে আমি এলিমেন্টগুলোকে জিরো করার ট্রাই করব। উই উইল, ইফ they will ask that find the value of the determinant without expansion, that means we need a property. তো আমাদের টার্গেট থাকবে to make zeros on the other side of the principal diagonal. ঠিক আছে, যে কোনো একটা সাইড জিরো করব আমরা। তারপরে then by the property we will write the value of the determinant will be the product of the element of the principal diagonal. ঠিক আছে, now question is that how to make other elements zero. ওটা কি করে করতে পারি? It has some rule again, তো ওটা আমরা দেখবো এখন। ওকে, নেক্সট this property you should remember, that if A is a matrix of order n,
Yes, sir.
then determinant of Ka equal to K to the power n into determinant of A. That we have done already, I guess, previously, right?
Yes.
So K to the power n ki n is the order, and n should be a square matrix. A should be a square matrix, so n কি হবে 3 cross 3 বা 4 cross 4, তো n এর ভ্যালু কত 3 বা 4, like that. তো এখানে একটা এক্সাম্পল আছে যে A is a square matrix of order 3 and A equal to determinant of A equal to -2, then find the value of determinant of minus of 5A. So determinant of -5A equal to -5 whole cube determinant of A, then it will be equal to, just you can put the value of the determinant. Why -5 whole cube? Because according to the property K to the power n determinant of A, since it is the order of 3, so it will be, my constant term is -5, so constant term will take the power as the order. তো কনস্ট্যান্ট টার্ম যেটা থাকবে তার পাওয়ারটা ওর অর্ডারটা হবে, and then determinant of A will come. So -5 whole cube into -2 will be 250. Okay, next, if A is a 3 cross 3 matrix, determinant of 3A equal to K determinant of A, then write the value of the K. As usual, determinant of 3A equal to K determinant of A. Determinant of 3A means 3 cube determinant of A equal to K into determinant A. So we can see that K equal to 3 cube, that is 27. Since determinant of A not equal to 0, so K will be 27 only. Okay, next we are coming to operation. That is the important one. operation of determinants. Operation of determinants means, like what I have written, that you can add any columns or any two rows, right? Previously I told you na that to use the property of the principal diagonal, this one property 4, we need to get the other side of the principal element, other side of the elements of principal diagonal to be 0. মানে যে কোনো ডায়াগোনালের যে কোনো সাইডে তোমার এলিমেন্টগুলোকে 0 রাখতে হবে। তো এই প্রপার্টি 4টা অ্যাপ্লাই করার জন্য ওই 0 আনতে হবে যেটা রয়েছে, ওই টু মেক দ্য এলিমেন্টস 0 আমাকে অপারেশন দিতে হবে। উই হ্যাভ টু গিভ অপারেশন অন দ্য ডিটারমিন্যান্ট। তো সেই অপারেশন না যে কোনোভাবে দেওয়া যায় না, ইট হ্যাজ সাম সার্টেন রুলস। তো সেই অপারেশনের রুলগুলো জানতে হবে। হোয়াট আর দ্য রুলস? You can add any columns or any two rows without changing the value of the determinant. That means we can, like if you want to add any two rows, we can. If you want to add any two columns, we can. If you want to add any three rows or three columns, we can. If we want to subtract any two rows, any two columns, we can. For example, I have written that C1 dash equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3. What is mean by C1 dash? C1 dash indicates that the operation will be given on the C1. That means in the column 1. Okay, column 1 এ আমরা অপারেশনটা দেব, আর অপারেশনটা কি? C1 plus C2 plus C3. C1 dash equal to C1 minus C2 minus C3 also can be done. C1 dash means ki we will give the operation on C1 only, and that can be done in C1 minus C2 minus C3. Clear? R1 dash equal to, see in the third one written that R1 dash equal to R1 minus R2. So R1 dash equal to R1 minus R2 means R1 রোতে, মানে that means row 1 এ এই অপারেশনটা দেওয়া হবে R1 minus R2. that means row 1টা চেঞ্জ হবে। কি করে চেঞ্জ হবে? R1 আর মাইনাস R2 করলে যে এলিমেন্টগুলো হবে সেই এলিমেন্টগুলো আমরা R1 এ পুট করব। R1 dash means we will give a operation, we will change the element of the R1. How the element will be changed? By the operation R1 minus R2. That means every element of R1 will be subtracted by the element of R2, and the result I will write in the R1 only. Clear? Third, next example.
Yes, sir.
R1 dash equal to R1 minus R2 plus 2R3. That means again in the R1 I will give operation. The operation will be R1 minus R2 plus 2R3. Similarly, lot more example. C1 dash equal to C1 minus 2C2, C2 dash equal to C2 minus C3, R3 dash equal to R3 plus 2R1. This type of examples you can see. But thing is that you have to remember one thing while you are giving an operation. তো কি মনে রাখতে হবে? যেই রোতে তুমি অপারেশনটা দিচ্ছ সেই রোটা বা সেই কলামটা ফার্স্ট থাকবে উইদাউট এনি চেঞ্জ অফ সাইন অর উইদাউট মাল্টিপ্লাইং এনি কনস্ট্যান্টস। মিনস তুমি দেখো সব জায়গায় দেখো গ্রিন কালার দিয়ে হাইলাইট করা হয়েছে। ফার্স্টেরটাই C1 ড্যাশ ইকুয়াল টু C1, মানে C1 থেকে স্টার্ট হবে কিন্তু উইদাউট চেঞ্জিং দ্য সাইন অফ দ্য C1। মানে যেই কলামে আমি অপারেশনটা দেবো সেই কলামের কোনো সাইন আমি চেঞ্জ করব না, সেই কলামটাকে আমাকে ফার্স্ট রাখতে হবে। তুমি ওই কলামটাকে প্রাইমারি নিয়ে ওর সাথে তুমি অন্য কিছু সাবট্রাক্ট করো, অন্য কিছু মাল্টিপ্লাই করো, সেটা অন্য কলামের সাথে পসিবল। ঠিক আছে? তো হোয়াট আই সেড দ্যাট প্রিন্সিপাল, দেখো হ্যাশট্যাগ দিয়ে লেখা আছে প্রিন্সিপাল রো or column should be remain same. Principal row or column means কি? That means যেই রোতে বা যেই কলামে তুমি অপারেশনটা দিচ্ছ সেটাকে সেম রাখতে হবে। You cannot multiply or you cannot multiply negative, or we cannot multiply any constant with the principal row. And you can multiply any constant with row or column except the principal row. মানে তুমি কোনো কনস্ট্যান্ট বা কোনো কিছু মাল্টিপ্লাই করতে পারো, সাবট্রাক্ট করতে পারো, অ্যাডিশন করতে পারো, এক্সেপ্ট দ্য প্রিন্সিপাল রো। প্রিন্সিপাল রোটাকে বাদ দিয়ে প্রিন্সিপাল রো বা প্রিন্সিপাল কলাম ফার্স্ট সবসময় থাকবে, এটা মাথায় রাখতে হবে। ঠিক আছে?
ঠিক আছে স্যার।
এইবার আমি কিছু সামে আসি। সামটা কি আছে? কি লেখা আছে? উইদাউট এক্সপ্যান্ডিং ফাইন্ড দ্য ভ্যালু অফ দিস। এটা কি করে করা যেতে পারে? উইদাউট এক্সপ্যান্ডিং ফাইন্ড দ্য ভ্যালু অফ ইট। সো এই টাইপের সামসগুলোতে না আমাদের অবজারভেশন কাজে লাগে।
ফার্স্ট কলামে একটা এ
হ্যাঁ,
যোগ করলে হবে?
এ অ্যাড করলে, রাইট? ফার্স্ট কলামে একটা এ অ্যাড করলে ডিরেক্টলি এ অ্যাড করতে পারি আমরা, বাট এ কি করে অ্যাড করব? হাউ? সাডেনলি তো আমি এ অ্যাড করতে পারি না। ঠিক আছে? So for
column 2 minus column 1.
column 2 minus column 1 বা row 2 minus row 1 whatever, আমি এখানে ফার্স্ট কি করেছি, r2 dash equal to r2 minus r1 করা হয়েছে। r2 dash equal to r2 minus r1 means কি, r2 টা চেঞ্জ হবে। r2 কোথায় আছে, এই যে r2 মানে এই হাইলাইট করলাম, এইটা চেঞ্জ হবে। কিভাবে চেঞ্জ হবে, r2 minus r1 করে, দ্যাট মিন্স r2 r1 r মানে r1 will be subtracted from r2। তো এই 2a plus b আর ওপরে আছে a plus b, if you subtract a will come, again 3a plus b and 2a plus b, if you subtract it will come a, 4a plus b, 3a plus b, if you subtract it will come a, correct? So all came a only, ঠিক আছে? After that then we can do it r3 dash equal to r3 minus r1, that means r3 will be changed। তো r3 is there, r3 means এই পজিশনটাতে r3 আছে, so r element of r3 will be subtracted by r1, right না? তো 4a plus b minus a plus b will give you 3a, then 5a plus b minus 2a plus b will give you again 3a, and 6a plus b, 3a plus b, again it will give you 3a only, okay? So next, if you take common 3, then it will come a plus b, 2a plus b, 3a plus b. Later on all the elements are a and then a, right? I have taken common 3 from the row 3, already it is written that taking out 3 from r3. Now we can see that row 2 and row 3 are identical. Since they are identical, the value of the determinant will be 0. So answer is 0 only. Clear? See this one. Question is that solve 3 minus x minus 1 then 1 minus 1, 5 minus x minus 1, 1 minus 1, 3 minus x. So our determinant is given. It is given that equal to 0. So equal to 0, solve. That means we have to find the value of x without expanding. So without expansion, when we solve, always remember we will use the property 4. What was the property 4? That was to make any either side of the principal diagonal to be 0. মানে এই যে প্রিন্সিপাল ডায়াগোনালটা আছে, এই প্রিন্সিপাল ডায়াগোনালের যে কোনো একটা সাইড যেন 0 হয়, ঠিক আছে? সেটা কি করে করা যায়, সেটা আমাকে অপারেশন দিতে হবে। এখানে আমি অপারেশন কি দিয়েছি, r1 dash equal to r1 plus r2 plus r3, দ্যাট অপারেশন আই হ্যাভ গিভেন। আমার মনে হলো যে এই অপারেশনটা সুইটেবল হবে, ঠিক আছে? তো r1 dash equal to r1 plus r2 plus r3 means in at the r1, that means at the r1 I will give the operation, that means r1 will be changed. And what is the operation? r1 plus r2 plus r3, that means all the 3 rows, this one and this one will be added. Row means you will think horizontally, you will think horizontally, you will add, right now horizontal elements you will add correspondingly. So roughly I have done that. You can see a rough work is there. So 3 minus x, then minus 1 plus 1, because rows are added, you will think that 3 minus x, then minus 1, then 1, they will add, minus 1, 5 minus x, minus 1, they will add, 1 minus 1, then 3 minus x, they will add in that way, okay? That is called the addition of the rows. Row will be added. If you add the rows, you will think that up and down, upwards and downwards will be added. And if you adding a column, then side by side can be added, because column is vertical. So if you want to add, then your left and right elements will be added. And in column, if you want to add, in row, if you want to add, then your upper and lower elements will be added according to the operation. So it will come 3 minus x, 3 minus x, 3 minus x, every element if you add like that, okay? So since 3 minus x is common in row 1, we can take out 3 minus x from the row 1, it will come 1 1 1, and that is the golden sum. Golden sum means actually our target is to get 1 1 1, and it was very easy to get if you do operation like that, and if you see any one element is common on that. So our target to bring 1 1 1. After that the sum is easy. How sum will be easy? See, এখানে if you subtract 1 and 1 it will become 0. If you subtract 1 and 1 and this will also become 0. ঠিক আছে? Now see how to do that. I have done c1 dash equal to c2 minus, c2 dash, not c1 dash. It is c2 dash. c2 dash equal to c2 minus c1. That means c2 will give changed. c3 dash equal to c3 minus c1. That means c3 will be changed. In both the calculation or operation, you can see that I have subtracted C2 and C3 from C1. That means C1 I have not changed anything. C1 will be same. C1 means this column. This column will not be changed. It will be as it is. Only C2 will be subtracted from C1. C3 will be subtracted from C1 also. Okay. So it will be 1 minus 1 column. You will see column wise. First column remains same. Second column becomes 0, 6 minus x minus 2. Third column becomes 0, 0, 2 minus x. Okay. When you are subtracting, always remember how to subtract. We are subtracting the column wise. Na? So if you want to subtract C2 minus C1, C2 is this one and C1 is that one. C2 minus C1 means 1 minus 1, 0. 5 minus x, then minus of minus 1, 6 minus x. Minus 1, then minus 1. It will be minus 2. Right? C2 minus C1 done. When you will do C3 minus C1, C3 is this. So every element of C3 will be subtracted by C1. So C1, then minus 1, 0. Minus 1, then minus of minus 1, 0. 3 minus x, minus 1. That means 2 minus x. So like that, in that way we have subtracted and we have got the result. This determinant will come. এই determinant আসার পরে we can see that this side is 0. That means if you consider it as a principal diagonal, so any one side of the principal diagonal is 0. যখনই এটা আসবে, that when you get the any other side of the principal diagonal is 0, তখনই তুমি করবে যে you will multiply the every element of the diagonal. So every element of the diagonal means 1, then 6 minus x, and then 2 minus x. This will be multiplied. So we have 3 minus x into 6 minus x into 2 minus x equal to 0. Clear? So if each factor is 0, then each of them can be 0. So 3 minus x can be 0, 6 minus x can be 0, 2 minus x can be 0. So from there, we can get the values of x as 2, 3 or 6. Clear?